Hi, so this video is just to give you a quick rundown of the tool, what it does, and how to play around with it. Please keep in mind that this is just a demo, a tech demo. It's a prototype. It has not been optimized for a variety of devices. It has only been tested on my laptop, which is a very simple laptop, and my phone, which is an Android phone. And here we go. As soon as you get to the website, you just click here where it says Run Tool, and it loads the splash screen, which shows the title, Tracetimator. The idea is it's just a nice pun, but it also explains pretty much what the tool is supposed to do, what I wanted to do, which is to be able to estimate with a certain degree of precision how a particular trace on the screen is behaving over time. Yes. Okay, so as soon as you click inside, you will see the tool here. So the first thing that you will see right in the middle is that there is a suggested trace for you to do, or for your the person who you are going to use this tool for them to write. And if you're using the computer, like I am at this moment, you just use your mouse and you just click, hold, and drag in order to do the trace. So in this case, I am going to be doing this word, this phrase, which is trace this. Okay, and of course, this will be much easier when you do it on the phone. I use the phone, I use my finger on the phone screen. I also use a very simple stylus. And the idea is that by using a phone, you will be able to feel a little more natural, have a more of a natural feeling as you are doing the task. Um, Besides being able to do just the trace and practice, you can also click, which is, I think, the part that will be more attractive for people who are doing research or will be able to then later on use a tool like this, or a future iteration of it for their clinical work, which is when you are done with the trace, you can click here where it says replay. And as soon as you play replay, it starts showing you exactly what the trace was, how it happened over time. It is recording it. And of course, being a web application, the amount of memory that it has is not that large. It cannot be that big, or at least it's unwise to have too much memory allocated for this. So instead, what I love is to be able to save it as a spreadsheet. So in this case, you just click on the CSV EXP button and it exports what you just did as a comma separated value file. When you open that file, it will show you a series of metrics. But most importantly, it gives you the raw data. So you have the position on the x-axis, on the y-axis, also on the z-axis, which is for me right now just theoretical because neither of my devices registers pressure, but I hope soon to be able to test it on pressure sensitive screen. And more usefully, after you have the time, you have on the millisecond level, you have the position in space, you are able to calculate velocity, acceleration, and jerk. And that gives us then on this right margin, you can see that there is a little dark gray square. And on that square, you have a series of metrics, which are calculated by using different combinations of these uh, measurements that we saw on the CSV. And so you have fluidity, you have continuity, stability, and smoothness. Later on, I might make some videos explaining how they all work, but the one that I think is the most useful in this regard, to appreciate how the trace goes over time, is this one right here, which is the log natural dimensionless jerk. But well, besides being able to do it, this export like this on the CSV, you are also able to see the trace in more detail. As you can see, that there is a little tooltip that hangs right on top of a red dot. And the idea is that by using this control here for speed, you are able to look at the replay with a little more precision. So if in particular you are, I don't know, you are working and you realize that when it comes to a particularly difficult font, like the letter, let's see the H, when it gets to the H, as soon as you get there, you can just hit pause, maybe make it a little slower, go again with replay. Well, in this case, I should have just pressed pause again. Let me make it faster here by going all the way here. All right, pause, make it very slow, and now resume. As soon as you resume, you can see the nuances of that trace, how it happened, what movements were exactly the ones done by the person doing the writing. You can also press rewind, the way this rewind button works, since it's conceived to be used on a screen like this, like the one on the phone, that does not necessarily allow prolonged for a prolonged press of the screen without creating extra noise. So it is working more like old tape recorders from the 90s, where you would just hit the rewind button, it would scrub, and you would hear, in a way, how the rewinding would go. And yeah, you can play with the speed. All right, you can also click here where it says repeat. As soon as you hit repeat, it will just go over and over and over again. Might be useful in a particular situation. All right, after you have done that, you just click here where it says clear. As soon as you do that, it wipes the whiteboard clean. You also have an opportunity to use this with other colors. There's not too many colors, but there are several. You can make the brush a little bigger. You have 4 different sizes. All right, as soon as you hit clear, it's gone. Let's say that you made a trace that you want to save to be able to see better, or maybe discuss with somebody else. You click replay. You want to save that detail. Maybe here you realize that in this point in particular, you really want to discuss this with someone. You just click here on screen. And when you click on screen, it saves a picture, but It also hides all of the controls. All you see when you click on that screen button, once you save it, is the graph paper, the trace, the current point in the replay that it was, and the values of the metrics. Let's just take a look. That's what it shows. All right, if you clear here, you can also just change this to say something else. Let's say I can write this same thing in Spanish. It would be trazar esto. Y nuevamente, again, I can just go over and trace the words as I need them to be traced. I can also choose from 4 different fonts. I have Cedarville, which is this one, Doto, Lobster Medium, and Open Dyslexic. And yeah, I think that's all. All right, and the last one here is you can, once you have saved the CSV, you can bring in only one here where it says CSV import. You click on it, and let's bring, okay, this one. And when you bring it, it starts playing it just as it was done on that particular, I'm saying particular a lot, on that moment, okay, in that session. If the speed control is right in the middle, it's playing 1x, the exact same time that it took the person doing the writing to do the trace. That's the same speed that it's going to have. If you bring it down, it's going to be very slow. If you bring it up, it's going to be very fast. But regardless of the speed of the animation, it still is going to be showing you precise values for how many seconds and how many milliseconds it took to move from point XY1 to point XY2. And the other thing that might be useful is that maybe you're not trying to find the detail in the numbers. Maybe you are more of a visual analyst, someone who will have a lot more information, more useful information from actually seeing the accumulation of traces over time. And so thinking of that, thinking of a Monday through Friday series of sessions, we have here a 5-layer comparative analysis or cumulative trace, more like. So if in this case I go to my folder and I bring in all the CSVs that I have been doing, I can bring a minimum of 2 and a maximum of 5. And once I do that, and I click on visualize, I will be able to see, let me put the speed, actually, let's see how it goes. I will be able to see the cumulative trace, one on top of the other. What would be the usefulness of this? Well, I think that sometimes there is a lot of useful information when it comes to what you're going to be doing in a future session, or when you're going to interpret the data of whether some progress has happened or some deterioration has happened on the motor skills, that these cumulative, this stacked trace can give you. I, for one, I, in particular, once fell from my bicycle. It was very, very bad. And I kind of lost the ability to write fluently for a while, or fluidly for a while. And I was very worried. And I think something like this would have given me a lot of hope if I had been able to see how my trace improved over time. Well, that's it. That is all I have to show you today of the Tracetimator. And I will be putting all of these articles that were the inspiration for the metrics right on the LinkedIn post. And yep, reach out if you want to provide some feedback. Thank you.